Alright, volume check. Volume seems good. Obviously there is no in-game sound right now, so I'll see how that stacks up when it finishes loading. So this run has been frozen for a while. The last time I put it up, the game really was when it was in the thick of experimental before Coffee Stain went on summer break, which is almost half a year ago. Performance was pretty spotty, and I'm really curious as to how it is now that it's out on the early access branch, really, because mostly I'm curious as to what Unreal Engine 5 brings to the table. There's been a lot of debate in the Discord and the community on whether this was a wise move, whether they should have shipped Satisfactory on UE4, probably game would be out by now, who knows. But I was very, very impressed with Lumen in the time that I spent on experimental. So we can see where it lands and what settings I can tweak to get acceptable performance as is, and also it's probably going to dictate how I build my base going forward, whether it's going to be more spread out, maybe move some stuff away from the main area, or if I can continue cramming stuff into the circle that I built. I'm aware that at some point there's going to be a recipe rebalance. I'm still 50-50 on whether I want to continue the save through the recipe rebalance and just like retrofit everything, or start from scratch again when 1.0 hits. Maybe performance will help me decide that as well. Like, if it's really, really bad, then I will have to start making smaller installations all over the map rather than the mega base structure that I'm doing right now. Pretty much everything except for aluminum, oil, and the nuclear stuff is within sight of each other. So it's quite a dense area. Holy cow, this thing's taking long to load as well. It's been like 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes at this point. I understand the first load is always the longest because it's compiling a bunch of shaders and all that on a quote-unquote fresh installation. So I swapped over from the experimental back to EA. The game kind of like reinstalled everything, it looks like. So it's gonna take a while. Off top of head, and oh shit, okay, here we go. Off top of head, I was gonna, if I remember, the medium term plan was to Nanite at work. It can't be this bad, right? Is it still loading stuff? Is it why it's like that? Curious. Let me check if it's still chugging the hard disk. Yes, it is. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna just leave the game running for a while to see how much it clears up. Okay, it stopped loading from hard disk. It is chugging my CPU, which is to be expected. Streamlabs is chugging my GPU, more so than the game itself. Second. It's definitely FPS issues. It's dropping 30 here still. Whether it's acceptable for me or not, I'm probably gonna play a little bit just to get a feel for it. See what the settings are. It's still dropping. Not as much, but it's still dropping. Kind of, it might just be the way it is from this point on. Then I have to deal with. I mean, up to 2 years ago, I was playing on a potato, and it was almost always like 15 to 20 FPS, dropping to like 5 in the base before I found it impossible to play. So this is actually still luxurious in comparison. And obviously, taking screenshots, frame rate doesn't matter at all. How's that? It's probably some leftover from one of my blueprint shenanigans. And I can't remember how to play. Okay, it's mental. I got the keybind right in the Visco. Alright, remember this, I was designing the... I don't remember what I was designing. Obviously don't need all this anymore. Alright, now I remember, I was trying to see how dense a curve it interacted with the foundry dimensions. Okay, clean up. I think this is contained within the blueprints. Right, time to kind of refamiliarize myself with my base. I actually honestly can't remember half of the immediate task that I was about to do. I kind of remember the overall plan. I've done steel. I've done this. I've not done this. I've not done this. And I have not done iron stuff, definitely. Dressing top of base to space elevator, circular dressing outside. Powering the lights to the top. Yeah, I don't think I've done the lights here. Right? I have not, okay. That's on the list to do. Wait, it looks pretty okay, like, but it looks like an abandoned building, which I really want to avoid. So at the start of experimental, lights were in a really dismal state, and I really just started replacing them with billboards, which just worked out to a certain extent. I kind of want to see if lights are usable again though. Holy cow, FPS is definitely tanking here. But again, that might just be the way that the game is gonna be, and live with it and design the next run a different way to not have all these interacting pieces all shining in the same place. Still okay with these areas, they don't look deserted at least. Well lit. The only thing is these signs cannot be controlled by the switch. Alright, and so officially starting like the description of the base tour. First place to go would be, this is a central hub. It's got research, it's got the handcrafting, it's got kind of a makeshift to-do list. It's got virtually all the parts that I'm producing which are useful for expanding. and it's got this, which is really just for me to check out power. Still don't understand where this little extra 2.5 and all that come from. I've never figured that out. So hypertubes kind of go out to the edge of the megastructure ring, and the idea is this base is laid out in a giant ring, and bits of manufacturing take place at the outer edges, and it all gets sent here to this. It's a hexagonal structure, triangle at the bottom, triangle on top, and together it forms a hexagon. So all these are wings. Stuff is manufactured in each wing, being sent through what's the best description for it is a vertical bus. Stuff comes out on the side, gets manufactured, goes back in center, and that's true for every level. Well, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. So we'll find a different wing that has more stuff. Okay, here's one. There's heat sinks down here. And further up, there's other stuff. Let's see, what's this? Encased ion beams. This is motors. This is got to be stators and rotors, I believe. Yeah. And this is the bus. The interior of the bus is really dark right now. I haven't figured out what to do as far as update 8 goes. It's kind of self-lit by the conveyors, but I kind of want to do something about that. Not sure what though, because those signs definitely tank performance. But the fact that the conveyors kind of lights the place themselves is an okay stopgap solution. Well, it gets dark when there's nothing. So yeah, it's a vertical bus. Like, this is the actual bus, and then this is just spaghetti to get stuff where it needs to go. I try to not have things clip, just for pure aesthetics, and just it's like a Zectronics puzzle to a certain extent, trying to get stuff to not cross. So all of this goes up to the layer where the storage is at, which is here. This central structure is the storage area that we were in just now. I am definitely re-familiarizing myself with everything is because I've 100% forgotten like which wing does what and all that. So venturing out, let's take a hypertube. I have done my steel production, and it's probably going to be the permanent solution for steel production until scaling up. Again, I'm not sure how much the game's going to allow me to scale up in Unreal Engine 5. I probably will be building my 1.0 run without this like nonsense megastructure where everything is visible to everything else. That really just kills performance. And my style of building is just very intricate architecture, which does not help. This would be okay if it was just cordoned off by itself, like you go to a specific point on the map and this is the only thing there. But when you have like 10 or so of these buildings all within visible range of that, it really tanks performance. So I guess it's kind of a casualty of the switch to Unreal Engine 5 because it was okay in 4. I could have probably expanded a little bit more in 4, but it's not happening anymore. So this is steel. It's fed by, if I'm not mistaken, 4 belts of coal, 4 belts of iron there, and it's still going perfectly fine. And 6 belt of ingots come up because the ratio is 2 to 3. Oh man, this is ugly as hell. I actually thought the conveyors are empty until let's see if we can get a better upscaling solution. DLSS. Can we go back to TSR? How bad is it gonna be? Can I just not upscale at all? Let's see. It might be a good trade-off. Still can't make it out. Holy shit, it's so much worse. Pretty sure it's even worse on stream after encoding and all that. Let's see. Video. So TSR is out. DLSS is definitely out. None? Try it. I mean, I can see the ore again. It still seems a little blurry though for some reason. Yeah, it's definitely blurry. It definitely was not like this. Just mess with settings for a while. Okay, much better. I'm gonna stick with this. I don't care if it lowers my frame rate a little. I'll deal with it. It's annoying not being able to see what the hell is on belts. Yeah, this is so much better. So I was saying 4 coal in, 4 ore in, full belts. Well, not full, 720. 720 in, and then out would be, I believe, 720 times 6. That's all the belts coming out. And the way this thing is laid out is there's 6 sides to the hexagon. Each 6 of this, actually no, the way to look at it is there's 4 levels. 1, 2, 3, 4. Each level takes in 1 of the coal and 1 of the ore belts, which is why there's 4 inputs. And because the ratio is 3 to 2, instead of taking each level's output for the ingots, it takes a face. So this face is 1 output belt, this face is 1 output belt, 1 output, 1 output. It's kind of a geometric way to solve the ratio, because again it's 4 in, 4 plus 4 in, and then 6 out. So there's 4 layers and 6 sides. This is a little bit of trickery just to keep things neat. I'm probably going to adhere to this principle for all my designs going forward, because the game not being on a grid allows for it. And like I said, architecture geek made sure that all this kind of makes sense. This thing was interesting to kind of like, where's my flashlight button? No, no, B, no, it's definitely not B, J, H, no. Where the hell's my flashlight? Okay, just look it up. Movement, equipment, vehicles, photo mode, trains, build menu. I think it's probably up there. Flashlight, B. So it was B. No? Did it? Are there 2 keybinds assigned? Is that why? Yeah, it is holster. Okay. In that case, can I use M? Is M being used at all? Map. Jeez. J. Why? It's not allowing me to rebind flashlight for some reason. Weird. Can I rebind this instead? Yeah, it's only flashlight which can't be, for whatever reason. That's so weird. Anyway, still no flashlight. It's broken. Okay, well, whatever. Where was I? Better rebind my holster back to B. I'm used to that. Yes. Okay. Pretty satisfying to watch, actually. It's like so much going on, and it regardless of what's happening all over the place, the input and output is super neat. So yeah, this is my steel smelting foundries. Right next door to it is the steel production. So my 6 belts go in. I believe half of them go to pipes and half of them go to beams. So there's a 3-to-1 ratio of beams to pipes. 4-to-1 maybe. And I believe pipes are 3-to-2, so 3 belts go in and 2 belts of pipes come out. Full belts. Right? Okay, yeah, here it is. 2 pipes, 2 pipe belts. And I believe this should be less than 720. It's got to be, let's see, quick maths. 1440, 4-to-1 ratio. No, it's not 1440. It's 2160 divided by. Okay, so it's a 540 belt of steel. This will be 540 belt of steel. Let's see if I'm right. Yeah, this is written here. Okay. Yeah, 2 belts of steel pipes and 540 of steel beam, which is plenty to feed the entire megastructure for now. Right, so this is a steel area. This is a circumference of the. It's got a walkway, and the walkway is supposed to go all the way across, and then there's the train line as well. The train is vertically stacked. Can't remember. Okay, the bottom one is anti-clockwise, the top one is clockwise. You can tell from the signals. So eventually, train stations will service this if necessary. I believe this delivers aluminium because aluminium goes into the base from the north, if I'm mistaken. I'm probably mistaken. Okay, it's aluminium, good. So I at least do remember a little bit of what the hell I was doing. And down here, it's a quick and dirty silicon. Yeah, I remember this now. I wanted to make a more permanent building eventually, but it's just like ram stuff in to get silicon up and running. Again, the medium-term plan really is to get the rest of a nuclear power plant up and running. I've got 1/3 of it up and not enough input to do the rest. And once that's up, I think it's enough to power whatever I want to do in this run, because I'm probably not going to max out the map in this run, not with the way that I decided to build this and the performance issues in. Not issues, but the performance limitation, it's definitely different from UE4. So this run kind of painted itself into the corner where I'm not going to be able to scale up as much as I want to, but it's okay, it is what it is. I'm happy to have made a structure like this once. And again, a lot of my design style just has way more build pieces than is necessary. Like, for example, these things. This is not necessary at all. Like, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 just for this one thing, and it's like duplicated all over the place. 11, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, which is just architecture, and it's like the equivalent of a 4x8x8 block in terms of size. It's kind of overkill on parts, overkill on polygons. So yeah, one of the next projects, as I said, was to get, let's see, iron and copper going. See where my iron's at. I'm not going to take the hypertube this time. I'm just gonna let's see if I remember. This is smelting. Iron and copper can be expanded. Just have another one back there. Really happy with this design as well. Took me a while. It's definitely overkill for smelters. You unlock smelters like 5 minutes into the game, but I just wanted my smelters to look different this run. So this is the smelting area for iron, and copper is over the other side. Again, this is all carried by Lumen. I'm gonna turn Lumen off just to get it, just to show the difference. Global illumination off, and this is what it looks like without Lumen. It's a completely different game, and this is kind of why I'm saying that I'm so glad that they did it. Like, performance hit or not, the game just looks so much better, and I feel that as computer parts get better and better, the game is gonna be able to do more than it does now with people's setups. Anyway, I think I'm okay with it being on medium for now. Kind of gets it across and probably is better on FPS for now. So this is my smelting. I've not put together the permanent setups for... In fact, what the hell? Oh, okay, these are supposed to be the inputs. I've got temporary inputs right now, I see. Turning them into plates, copper wire, all that is not done yet. Well, it is, but it's not permanent. I believe I'm doing that over here. This little factory here, I really need to ramp this up if I want to ramp up my output. And one thing I'm probably going to do to help with FPS, since I'm redoing this, is just move the iron stuff all the way over there. Have this go out, come back up here on this bus. Just extend this bus all the way out there. It's probably gonna help FPS a little bit, because there's a bunch of machines here which will disappear. And I remember I'm just syncing everything just to make sure that this moves and I can troubleshoot. I remember I turned off 2 as well. I didn't need all of them. So my 2 belts are empty. So that's probably one of the next projects. My caterium's over there. That's actually the first dumb thing I did with the experimental branch, because Lumen was the thing. I wanted to test out Lumen and how it looked and all that. I discovered that the big billboards and the size of the refinery kind of match up, so using billboards as a foundation for refineries is now my go-to design choice. And I wanted the caterium processing to kind of be here. This is a temporary setup again. Not wrong, it uses pure this caterium ingots, and I want to change it to fused eventually. It's not really being used much right now. So this is another temporary setup. And here it is, the pure caterium processing plant. So it's ore and water. The water comes into these pipes. We should go from the bottom to get the full effect. So the ore comes in here. It's a 720 belt of ore. Some water coming here as well. So here's the entrance. Split the belt into 4 for absolutely no reason at all, and then it combines again up there. And here is the caterium smelting, or I guess refining. It's gonna turn the GI back to high again. Doors above. Hooray. This is always open. Automatic. Okay. Okay, that was weird. Maybe I need to do that for every single door. Oh, damn. No, this one's working. So it's just that one was bugged for whatever reason. So the way this works is the ore actually goes into these machines on the outside through here. It goes to 2 levels, 1 up, 1 down. Same with water, 1 up, 1 down. I believe there's 3 different pipes feeding them, but 1 single input belt. Okay, this is the end of the belt. And oh yeah, here's the ore coming out. Goes all the way. Then it kind of like goes here, and then this is the remaining after 1/3 of it's used up. 2/3 of this. So it all goes into these machines. And it's a very interesting measurement that's been used here, where the top and bottom are sort of like shifted by, if you're not mistaken, 2 meters. So this machine is 2 meters inwards compared to this machine, and it allows this splitter to feed both like that. Then the last third. So, and then on the inside, it all feeds back into and 1 single output belt as well. So here's the end of the belt, or the start of the belt rather. So ore slowly goes in and it zooms out. It kind of looks like a water slide, which is appropriate since it's like a pure alt. And here's the flex, and then second set, flex again, and then third set. And then it goes out here, I believe. Yep, you can see it coming out. So yeah, this is a Caterium processing plant, and like I said, having billboards be a foundation for refineries is probably going to be my go-to going forward. And similar to the smelters, it's staggered. This should be apparent from the belt slide. I can't remember how to build this. It's going to be hell to duplicate, but I'm probably going to do it for a copper area, like a giant copper smelter or pure alt refinery area, like probably in the Dune Desert, Rocky Desert rather. So yeah, that's Caterium. So quartz is on the north side. This is temporary Caterium. Like the wires, copper is going to come here, and then probably make the copper plant plus the Caterium plant here, because there is another recipe for Caterium ingots plus copper ingots to make a bunch of wire at once. And then being next to the water probably will allow for copper sheets, steam copper sheets. So yeah, this is the main area. Again, kind of regretful. I like the concept of this giant megastructure. I was going to populate the entire circumference with buildings, but that's really just not happening in UE5. Maybe when I get another computer in like 5 years or so with more juice. It's just not happening now. So aluminum, we go visit aluminum. I can't remember how to do this. Turn off edit timetable. Next one goes to aluminum depot. Okay, so turn on self-driving. It's going by itself. Cool. I eventually want my rail network to go across the entire map. Every time I do it, I ended up regretting it because there were bugs with like the pathing and all that, but it's probably going to go like this way around, and then there's this branch that goes to the main base. Temporary oil here. I'm going to make my recycled loops at the spiracles, which is on the right. Through there. Alright, what I can say is experimental. This area was really problematic experimental. Like, I get stutters and freezes here while I think it's traversal related. It seems to be fixed now. There's a little bit of pop-in for like the terrain features and all that, but I take that over the freezes that were happening. It shouldn't stop this. Oh, I see. Okay. Fair enough. To prevent that from happening, I would need to put a signal on that bend. I never realized that actually. Interesting. Not that it's going to affect, because I don't think I'm ever going to get to a lot of throughput on these lines as well. It's just, again, as nice as UE5 looks, that's a trade-off. We're going to have to be smaller scale than something like Factorio, which always was the case, but I think the gap is just a little bit bigger now. Oh man, trees respawn, and then I have to bulldoze this again just to not have it clip into my stuff. So this aluminum, I can get out. This thing will stop at the depot, I believe. So I decided to leave aluminum out in the open, just because there's kind of a oil rig vibe to this. I know it's probably more appropriate for the actual oil stuff, but this can be expanded outwards this way and this way. It's probably a long-term project, not now. But I might swap to alt as well for that. This is just the default recipe. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 refineries making alumina solution, feeding 3 of this for scrap. Yeah, 6 to 3. And feeding 12 foundries, if I'm not mistaken. 12 times 90 is 180 per minute. Yes, that's right. Because it's 360 per minute, so 1080 total divided by 2, 540. Yeah, that's right. 540 on top, 540 at the bottom. I've always also felt this unease, like whether this is ever going to back up. Like, in terms of mathematics, it should not back up, but for some reason this stack keeps growing, and I'm actually not sure what I'm doing wrong. But a way to kind of combat that would be to have specifically the other stuff in this recipe, which is aluminum scrap, feed in the same way as, so there's always a priority for the byproduct to be in the foundries that are going first, being fed first, and then the stuff that's coming in to be going in later, which is actually the opposite of what it is now. So this is a little bit of a dangerous design. And obviously the other way to make sure this doesn't happen is to just have it overflow out. But yeah, it works for now. I'm not going to change anything. But yeah, I think if I do expand this in this run, I've been more and more demotivated to expand this run because this entire run is just built in a way which is not conducive to Unreal Engine 5 at all. Unreal Engine 5 really, especially if you're playing with Lumen, it really wants to have discrete little factories here and there, and the fact that I'm doing a mega base with everything there is just there's so many FPS issues. Like over here is okay for obvious reasons. This is when I'm in range of the big block of stuff, then everything just tanks to shit. It's what it is. It really is what it is. Anyway, let's get back to the base. Construction depot. Go here. What's this? Big changes. Is it going? Yeah, there we go. Part of me wants to do the copper here at this area because I can siphon literally all the copper out of Rocky Desert and turn it into copper powder for the final elevator. Elevator milestone. Remember, there is kind of like a support factory for the aluminum that does, if I'm not mistaken, the silica, the additional silica, and then the copper. It's really not much to show there, so I'm not going to bother getting out. Honestly, the more I think of it, the more I just want to start building more stuff here anyway, and just take the frame rate hit. Play at like 15 FPS like good old days. It's fine. It might be interesting to do it, just to see how bad it gets. Since I know I won't be doing this in the next run. Probably have my CPU just be able to cook eggs. I don't know, I'll play around with that. I'm definitely not building anything in this segment. I just want to, again, re-familiarize myself with all the shit that I built because it's been a while. Alright, nukes. Go and visit the nuke plant, and that's probably the last area of interest in this run. Go fast. Go fast. Go fast. Oh god damn. Go fast. Yeah, one of the short-term things is to sort out this power pole and make it straight as well. Like the fact that it's bending all over the place actually bugs me. I need to figure out what the maximum range between two of these are, just so that I can lay out foundation and get them straight. Maybe I'll do that before I end the segment, just for information's sake. Excuse me. I'm not sure it's locked respawn. I definitely would not have left that there. I don't think. It probably respawned. Oh boy, I can see my nukes. This wasn't the case in experimental. You couldn't see these plumes from far away. frame rate's okay though, for very obvious reasons again. Should have been sprinting. Forgot. It goes way faster when sprinting. Alright, I'm curious to see if this bend throws me off. It always did in experimental because my FPS was so low. Yeah, it does. Okay. That's another reason I want to get it in straight line, so that stops happening. Hooray, my nukes. Everything respawns, it looks like, not just. Let's go kill them. Worse than that, I'm pretty sure the spiders respawned as well. God damn. Okay, that respawned. I don't see the crab hatchers. Crab hatchers didn't respawn for some reason. Not that I'm complaining. And honestly, the more that I look at it, the more that I just want to restart, because I really want to build stuff like this. And again, that mega base in the center is just not conducive to that. So I may restart. I may restart. So anyway, this is a coal plant, nuclear plant. It's got 3 segments. I've built one, and this is fully functional. Perfect ratio. So this is 600 belt of uranium coming from that waterfall. 600 divided by 3, sink 2 portions of it. So this 200 and 200 would have feed the other 2 slices. And the way this works is 200 goes to 4 blenders for these uranium, which makes 100 encased uranium cells. And sulfuric acid is basically 3 of them, 4 of them feed the 4th one. And the output, which is 100 per minute, goes over here, goes to this absolute monstrosity, which is basically a 1-to-5 balancer. I'm gonna wait for some of it to come by. There. 1-to-5 balancer, and it goes out through 5 belts, feeding these 5 manufacturers. 20 per minute, so 100 divided by 5, it's 20 per minute. And these manufacturers have 1 uranium fuel rod, 0.4 per minute. It goes straight out to 2 of these at once, and each of these take 0.2. So it's perfectly balanced. Everything in this is perfectly balanced, and that's one of the goals that I had this run, to balance my radioactive stuff. I can kind of stand directly on these, and the radiation is just not much at all. Here as well. Like standing on this is just doesn't even register at all. Like the old way I've done this is manifolded, and then this would be a full stack of encased uranium cells, and then these nukes would have had like a full stack just going that way. So balancing it out has definitely made this a lot safer to navigate. In fact, the majority of the radiation is coming from the plutonium rod production of the recycling. Anyway, these rods go in here 0.2 per minute, and what comes out is waste. The waste is collected and sent through this. Okay, let me see if I can remember. This 35.7, 35.7, 25, which means dividing it by 8, this gets 2, this gets 3, this gets 3 out of 100 per minute of the waste. Yeah, 100 per minute divided by 8 is 12.5, and 12.5 times 2 is 25. 12.5 times 3, which is this one, and this one. 37.5, 37.5. And that's for the recycling. I'm sinking it, I'm not using plutonium power. Just because the way that I play this game means that I spend so much time building, and by the time I finish anything whatsoever, if waste was building up, it would build up to a significant degree. So the idea behind this build is, again, balance everything so that the radiation is minimal. I'm still on like the second filter since I came here, I think. So down here, the majority is coming from these two. Like, see, the radiation level here is so high versus over here. It's still, there's still stuff here, but it's not as much. And excuse me. So what I do plan to do in an iteration of this design is, this is using the default recipe, which is encased plutonium cells. These are the bulk of the radiation source. What happens is the way it works is the input will always build up to 2 stacks at maximum, because once it gets to 1 stack, it starts, and then stuff keeps coming in. In the meantime, and it can't start until like the first stack is there, so it builds to the second stack while the first is being built. So by doing this, I have potentially 60 times 2, 120 encased plutonium cells in this area at any one given point of time. And that's actually a lot. That's a whole lot. If I switch it to the alt, which is 20, stack of 20, and then I overclock it, I'll reduce that to a potential 40 at most. So it's 120 has become a stack of 40. So this radiation should drop by 2/3. Theoretically, I haven't actually done it. Maybe that's going to be a project before I abandon this run, just so that I know what to do for the next run. But other than that, no, actually, even with that, everything's perfectly balanced, so the radiation is kept to a minimum. And I'm really happy with how that turned out. I'm still on my same the same filter since I started. It's really not using up the filter at all. So yeah, circular design, nuclear plant. Maybe just to cap off this run, I'll finish the nuclear plant just so I can take pictures of it. Because I know for a fact that, well, no, next run I'll probably build the same thing as for the nuclear, but that giant circle for the main base is not going to happen. It's going to be smaller structures. It's got to be smaller structures to get this FPS. Maintain this FPS. What settings can turn to high? I'm just curious for the quality. Shadow is probably biggest offender along with light. Oh, my FPS drops. Still holding a stable 60 here. But yeah, I'm really happy with this design where it's like there are highlights. It highlights the fact that it's a circle. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 plants. Should I actually just label them? Can I label them? Icon. Are there? There's no numbers. That means I'll need. Yeah, there's no numbers, unfortunately. A different layout I can use? No. I'm stuck without numbers. I wanted to label this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I can't. So one of the suggestions I have for this build to make it less complicated, because this is kind of like 4 blenders squeezed into a pie slice and then 5 manufacturers squeezed into the same pie slice, was to overclock these to 1.25, so it's 1 to 1, 1 to 1, 1 to 1, 1 to 1. It's a good idea. The problem with that is overclocking that makes this ratio 1 to 1, but it screws up the ratios for the nuclear generators. And I could also overclock these to 1.25, but then I wouldn't be able to feed each of these pairs with a single pipe, because it'll be way too much for one pipe to carry. And the way that it's being fed right now is two extractors per generator, and it uses one pipe that goes up this way. Technically I can just avoid it, but this is really minor, but having only one pipeline pump saves a little bit of energy, and the fact that it adds up to 600 is like, okay, sure, why not? Sorry, not 600, 480. So increasing that by 1.25 is unfortunately going to push the nukes into 600, and from experience 600 pipes is just asking for trouble. So I rather stick with this 4 to 5, and it looks cool as well, because it does give a reason for this pie shape, circular shape, where it's like 4 machines towards the center and 5 machines further out, and it fits really nicely as well. Then this for the waste processing fits in the central area of that pie slice, and it can be repeated 3 times. I kind of like made a really quick test here. So yeah, it's coming up in an hour for this stream, which is pretty much more or less what I wanted to spend. Again, it's kind of semi-familiarizing myself with what the hell I was doing, and assessing where this run stands in terms of UE5 and all that. My finding really is I have to build. I can't do my megastructures anymore. It's not going to play nice with Lumen and UE5, and I really want to be using Lumen, so I might just restart and not have that megastructure. So in that case, what would wrap up this run would be to probably increase the amount of temporary iron, increase the amount of temporary copper, just enough to finish off this nuke plant, and then finish off this nuke plant just so I can get screenshots of it. Actually, and the problem with that is I cannot remember the dimensions of like these things and this. So I made it harder on myself in that these blenders are depressed 2 meters lower than this. And then it's like this is just another different elevation altogether. I wouldn't be able to recreate this without like really studying my own video, and I think it's been a little bit too long, and a better use of time would be just do another run, I guess. As much as I don't want to, this run might be done. I'll think about it, I really will, and if I decide to end this run here, then I will just edit this video's title, say run over, restarting soon, or something like that. Tough decision. Literally 2 minutes ago I was saying I wanted to finish this nuclear plant, but at the same time, there's just so many fine details on like, how the hell do these belts work? Like in terms of positioning and all that. that'd be really hard to pick up visually. I probably need to like study the video in depth, either that or redo it again and then do it 3 times just so that even if I don't have the materials for it, just having everything laid out so I don't forget how it was done is probably a better way to do this. And obviously making more use of blueprints, because a lot of this is done manually and it definitely could be blueprinted to a certain extent. Might actually play around with like doing a full circle, have 2 belts of 600 uranium and then double everything. That might be interesting, and that would probably be the size of project which I'm the maximum size of project which I'm comfortable in having a single area, because again of the Unreal 5 performance limitations. Something to consider for next run. We'll see. Really, we'll see. In any case, I think this run's done. Sorry, this video is done. Like I said, I'll take some time to think about what I want to do with this run. And if I have to abandon and not hit nuclear pasta again, it is what it is. Like, I've done that so many times. Not on stream, obviously, but I just want to build stuff at this point. And Lumen has opened up so many opportunities for really nice looking stuff to build. And I like to do that with my settings set to high. Doesn't have to be ultra, just high is enough. And like I said, the mega base just does not allow that right now, so that kind of defeats the whole point of this run. This is a U7 grandfathered run. I started in U7, and obviously if I'd known that it would be U5, Unreal Engine 5 with the different limits of performance, I would have done things differently. Anyway, it's 1 hour, it's past 1 hour. I don't want to be spending too much time on this, so I think there's no point saving, I think. I guess I did dismantle the 2 things next to the blueprint designer, so that's a change. Let's see, pasta, but 62, and run, and who knows? We'll think about it. Come on. Maybe run and okay, there we go. Play duration 212 hours. This is shorter than my normal runs. For some reason, I know I spent a lot of time just building architecture, but at the same time, they really waste a lot of time. I haven't even explored the whole map. I haven't built the usual round the map railroad that I usually do, and that takes a lot of time without blueprints, so maybe that's why. And just for curiosity, I'm pretty sure I have 40k power. Yeah, 40k. That's where this run is ending. Potentially. I keep saying ending and I keep doubling back on that. I really don't know at this point. I'll think about it. But in any case, this segment is done. I saved already, so hooray.